Hello, everybody. I want to talk about one of the more worrisome trends that we see, and that's the trend towards part-time employment. But you can triumph in a part-time world. We know that the world's changed considerably. After World War II, the U.S. was a dominant force in the world. That no longer exists. And when we were a dominant force, we had a high number of full-time jobs. That no longer exists either. The world changes, as it should, because our standard of living is so much better today than it was 30 and 40 years ago. Not all things change for the better. That's why so many of us resist change. We like the change that makes us better. But in some ways, the world can be better, and we may not be as advantaged by it. However, if we study why the world changes and where the world's going, we can put ourselves in a position to profit from that change. At least be ready and willing to change our focus and the way that we live our life because of a different future. So here we go. We've seen a growing and worrisome trend in the United States towards part-time and temporary workers. The reasons are quite common. We have high labor costs. There's not much difference in quality between something made in Mexico or China and the United States. We have high government regulations and high government taxes. Those four factors, more than any other, has caused us to not be as competitive in this country versus other countries. For the most part, the United States still designs the products the world uses. And other countries build the products that the world uses as well. That has, more than any other factor, caused a tremendous difference in wealth. Fewer people design products and more people build them. And those that design those products make much more money than those who build them. Those two factors cause the differences between income and the number of jobs. Definitely not a good trend. We know the rules of the game have changed. The key is, as I said earlier, how to profit from them. Not much effort should be expended to bemoaning the fact that the world changes. One hope that you learn from our discussions and our talks is that when you learn from the past and then work to change the present, you can have a better future, or at least a chance at a better future. So to become and remain employed in today's world, to move past the temporary jobs, the part-time employment, here's some things that you should look for. First is the realization you're going to have to make it on your own. You can no longer rely on anyone else to create your future, and you must invest in yourself. You must create your own, what we call training and development fund, because in previous times, the employer, the organization, did that for us. No longer. We have to create our own research and development account, and we have to invest in our own future. If you can't find a job, then today you may need to create your own job. We can no longer expect an organization to create the lifelong employment that they did for our grandparents and great-grandparents. We have to first realize if we're going to have success in this world, it's going to come through our own heart and mind. And secondly, we're going to have to recognize the need to go to school until we retire. Some people call it lifelong learning. It's a good term. But we're going to have to continue to educate yourself and ourselves, both formally and informally, in school and out of school, until we retire, and then probably thereafter. Thirdly, you're going to have to recognize the need to look for a job for the rest of your life, till you retire. I often say for the rest of your life because even those who retire continue to work in one way or another. But many people think that after they get the good job, they don't have to look for the next job. It is one of the most fundamental mistakes that people make. You never are guaranteed how long you're going to have your current job. And in all my career planning, whether it's webinars, seminars, conferences, I constantly talk about the need that you're going to have to look for a job, and you should be looking for a job for the rest of your life, at least until you retire. You never know when the organization is going to go under. You certainly never know when you're going to lose your own business. So you must always make those contacts and make yourself as valuable as possible for when that job no longer exists. Fourth is you have to work harder than everyone else. That means you have to spend less time at home and probably less time having fun, less time traveling, and it may also impact your health a bit. But in today's world, what's valued is those that work the hardest. And that brings us to the fifth. which means that you have to overcome each and every obstacle in your life. You can no longer have excuses of why things don't happen or things don't work. What we've learned in this life is that every single person that you meet has an obstacle. Every single person is going to be treated differently for something they have. Those that become successful are those that overcome no matter what building, no matter what boulder is in the road. Those that become successful are the ones that overcome the particular obstacle or challenge that they have in their life. Every single one of us have a different challenge. The successful are the ones that overcome the challenge in their own life. And there you have it. How to triumph in a part-time world. You have to make it on your own. You have to recognize the need to go to school until you retire, and recognize the need to look for a job till you retire. You have to work harder than everyone else, and you have to overcome whatever obstacles in your path. That will not only make a great life, but a great person. I wish you the best.